coming to San Diego, not knowing anybody, it was like, all right. It was almost like hitting the reset button, not only on my body, but on my life. So here I was living this authentic lie, or, the ego version of Drew at the time in Tampa, Florida. What would I live if I was truly in my heart's center, my selfless self, my soul self? What could I do for the rest of my life and not even care how much I got paid? And that's when FitLife TV started. And I was just like a maniac on a mission.
Welcome to Barbell Shrugged. I'm Mike Bledsoe here with Doug Larson and the Kenny Kane. And we're down here in San Diego hanging out with Drew Canole, the founder of Organifi and FitLife TV.
Yes.
So I think I ran across your videos before Organifi was a thing. And you were ranting about juicing and stuff.
Yeah, veggie juice.
On YouTube.
Yeah.
And then I actually juiced for a long time. And then I just start taking your product instead.
I mean, that's why
and Drew, as far as context goes, I mean, he was a long time ago as a weightlifter that wasn't allowed. Like juicing and weightlifting were contradictions.
Yeah,
you don't want to mess
unless
up
it
the
was in
insulin.
a needle. And then
Yeah,
then
exactly.
it's completely allowed.
Well, what's crazy is he's been doing it, and a lot of people don't know this, but he's actually 87.
I've been a master's athlete for 50 years.
Birth certificate was wrong.
He
was
finally
found out.
He was with Jack LaLanne when they invented the Smith machine.
That's
it was
right.
actually his idea.
Mandelbaum.
So Drew, what got you into making videos and promoting health in the first place?
I think I was at a place in my life. I was 40 pounds overweight. I was living in Tampa, Florida. I was doing a job, basically. I was running a credit and debt settlement company. I liked helping people, but it was super stressful. I was working every single day, 12, 14 hours, and then on the weekends, I would drink a bunch of alcohol, and I would eat a bunch of food, and 40 pounds overweight, right? Had man boobies at the time. Just wasn't good.
Can we get some pictures of you from back then?
Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah, we'll find some for you. And I burned most of them, so it's going to be hard for me to come up with these.
I'm going to start distributing just those pictures.
yeah. So I had a friend come to me, and he's like, he was an older guy, Mark, and he came to me with this green juice, and he told me a story of how he changed his life, how he was given a death sentence, 6 months left to live, drinking green juice. And he used the juice in 6 months. His wife went home, got rid of the processed food, the sugar, the dairy, the wheat, all this stuff, and he healed himself. He lost a bunch of weight, saved his life. I'm like, well, what would an average guy that's 40 pounds overweight be able to do that's in the gym for an hour and a half every day anyway, just by alkalizing my body, putting in nutrients, minerals, aminos, all this stuff that I wasn't getting? What would that do for me? So in a period of 90 days, I lost 40 pounds, got a six-pack, first time in my life at the time. And I thought it'd be fun to help people along the way. So I was making videos on YouTube, on Facebook at the time. And
so was that concurrent? You're starting to drop weight, or was it
7
like
years
much
ago?
So you dropped the weight and then started right away?
Right away, because I was my mind switched. I'm like, if people could really feel how good it really feels to be in a body that's fully functional, like tapped in, tuned into a higher frequency, vibration, whatever you want to call it, I was committed. I'm like, I will do this for the rest of my life, whatever it takes. I will deliver information to them at the time that help their bodies heal, that turn their minds on, that help them focus, that help them be present, because around me was a bunch of people that really weren't present. You know, they were checking out, they were drinking on the weekends, and I want to be a catalyst for change.
Yeah. So at the time, you just started like juicing spinach and kale and celery or cucumbers or whatever. Like, what was the juice mix that you were drinking? And then did you add that to your diet, or were you just like on juice fast for a period of days or months?
So for 2 weeks, I did 1 32-ounce green juice a day. That was it, and it consisted of primarily veggies: lemon, ginger, kale, cucumber, celery, and that's it. 32 ounces of that once a day. I noticed my energy started to go up. I didn't need any Monster red drinks anymore, the Red Bull, all that other crap. And the green juice helped. I was hydrated. I had all the minerals. And I was also eating the same food. I didn't even change my diet. I just added that in. And then after 2 weeks, it was like my diet started to shift. I found myself craving things that I've never craved before, like broccoli. I'm like, wow, broccoli really sounds good. And at the time, coming from Michigan, I'm like,
Said 4 people.
What is this? What is happening?
Gonna be disowned.
Kombucha and kale chips was
Right.
like my snack. I'm like, who am I becoming here? What's happening?
Yeah.
And so that started to shift over time. I got rid of the processed food within a month. All that, documented the whole entire journey. I lost the weight. I didn't put any more effort in the gym. I just continued on the program that I was on there, and my body just transformed because of the nutrients and getting the things from Mother Nature that I really needed in my body at the time.
Yeah, I find that really interesting, and that's something that I started gravitating to over time. There's a point in my life where it was mostly about calories, and protein, fat, carbs, and this and that. And I think a lot of times we think about what we don't want in our diet to make our bodies do what we want them to do. It's like, oh, I want my body to look different. I want this and that. We think about what needs to be restricted. And I really like how you approached it it sounds like you did restrict your diet the first 2 weeks. But I found something similar in that if I really load up first thing in the day with tons of micronutrients, all the vitamins, minerals, all that stuff from whole foods, and then also just cutting out sugar, all of a sudden, energy skyrockets, body fat drops, and, time in the gym is much more useful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's crazy. And even like what you said, Mike, the psychology behind it, like changing a cheat meal to a treat meal, changed everything. So when I did do like a cheat, it was actually rewarding myself for staying consistent and having all the stuff that my body really needed versus all the stuff that I was just putting in there anyway.
You said you're spending less time in the gym, but you're obviously an athletic, muscular person. Like,
Yeah.
do you still not spend much time in the gym?
I would say 45 minutes a day, not as much as I used to. For a while there, I was going nuts, an hour and a half, 2 hours in the gym every day. And it's therapy, like that book that you just told me to get. Strength training becomes like our spiritual practice. Right?
Yeah.
What was the book that you mentioned?
Strength to Awaken.
Yeah, Strength to Awaken.
Yeah.
So it was like that. Now it's like I'm doing a little bit more yin stuff, a little qigong. I train with a practitioner, and just grounding, meditating more, and then being more effective when I'm in there. So I'm just more focused versus scattered. And a lot of people just go to the gym to take selfies. Like, I want to go to the gym and get a workout,
Yeah.
So-
Well, it's funny you mentioned that because a lot of times I'm going, oh wow, we run basically a media company. We make podcasts, what we're doing right now. We do videos and we have a social media following. And I'll hit the gym and then I'll get home and then I'll go, shit, I didn't pull my phone out one time. It's the opposite of what most people need to be doing. Like I'm getting onto myself for not taking any selfies or whatever because I'm trying to inspire people to do what we're doing. And at the same time, it's a little bit of a conundrum because as I want to inspire people, I also don't want other people to be on their phones when they're training. Be focused on what you're doing and be with what you're doing.
Yeah. Set aside the time, 10 minutes after the workout or before, and then just get committed and focused when you're in there.
It's part of the new strategy.
Yeah.
And you put in the workout program, selfie.
Here it is.
Yeah.
Pre-warm-up selfie, selfie time.
So as a Michigonian going to
Yeah.
Tampa, Florida, and
Florida.
you start going, all right, I'm gonna jack myself down by juicing myself up.
Yep.
You're looking at a turnaround, and you start moving across the country, and what happens after you're losing this weight? You're like in
Yeah.
Tampa. You're a dude who's kind of getting focused, looking at things from a slightly different lens, getting
Yes.
fit, feeling good. What happens like from there? You're just like, all right, not fit all good in these shirts. I'm gonna go get some ladies. Like what's happening?
It was almost like that.
Yeah.
I was in Tampa, and I was, like I said, I had a bunch of friends that loved to go out and drink, and the environment that I was in wasn't conducive to transformation. And we know if you look at neurolinguistic programming and logical levels, environment's one of the core levels in the bottom of the pyramid. So changing my environment was huge. Coming to San Diego, not knowing anybody, it was like, all right. It was almost like hitting the reset button, not only on my body, but on my life. So here I was living this authentic lie, or, the ego version of Drew at the time in Tampa, Florida. What would I live if I was truly in my heart's center, my selfless self, my soul self? What could I do for the rest of my life and not even care how much I got paid? And that's when FitLife TV started. And I was just like a maniac on a mission, beating the pavement every day, shooting videos here with like you remember those HD flip cams that you could like plug into your computer?
Oh yeah.
With
Had
that
one. Yeah.
every day, doing videos, taking selfies in the gym at the time and just rocking it out.
When you look back on those videos now, was it 6-7 years later?
Oh,
do you cringe, or like what do you think when you look at them?
It's like, who is this young boy? This beardless boy that's like 40. I was lighter too. I looked like I was just so skinny. So you could see the hard work and the dedication over time from a physical. And then also when you listen to me, it's like, wow, it's like I sound so much more grounded now. And, before it was just fly by the seat of my pants, read a book, shoot a video.
Were you dogmatic as you're starting to like dive into this on that journey, as far as like, all right, now I'm juicing, this is the way it is, bam? Or was it slightly different tone? Because now you're sounding like you have perspective.
Yeah, no, I had an open mind even back then. I think that's one thing as a Michigonian we have is open minds, and I wasn't trying to force anybody to drink the juice.
Yeah, literally.
Literally. But if they came to it and they started doing it, like obviously the results speak for themselves. So
were most of those videos were about juicing, or was it a wide variety of topics?
It was a wide variety of topics. Every week I did a Mindset Monday and a Saturday strategy. So the Mindset Monday was all mindset practices you could do, fear, anxiety, how to stay focused in the gym or at work or whatever. And then the Saturday strategy was typically a nutrition video around meals, around juicing, smoothies, lots of stuff like that.
What actually motivated you to make this switch?
Yeah.
Did you just wake up today and you're like, fuck it, I'm tired of this? Or what was the catalyst to flip? Because I find that really interesting, because I think there's a lot of people who they're going to the gym or they're trying diets and then they do it for a couple months and it's the new year right now, right? So people they're all making a commitment to changing, and then in 3 months they're going to be beating themselves up for not actually making it work.
Yeah. I had this dream. I've always been a dreamer at night, like physical dream time, right? And I had a dream that I died. And I saw people at my funeral and how many people were there based on the life that I was living in that moment. And I remember feeling alone. I remember feeling like, God, I really haven't done much to help anybody else. Like it's been about me. And I wanted to live for other people. I wanted to help people, I wanted the we versus me mentality. And the dream was so visceral, it was so vivid, it was so real, that when I woke up and came out of it, it was like, all right, I get to switch, and I get to make this switch. And I had been meeting this mentor, this sage of mine, for 2 years, Frank. He's this 87-year-old, just, Buddha, Jesus incarnate, whatever you want to call it. And I met with him for breakfast, and he would tell me every day, if you do nothing else for the rest of your life, just make sure you're impacting people, making a difference. And I really took it to heart. And when I awakened from that, it was like, all right, now I'm on a mission. And something just happened to me. And then every week from there on out, it was, how many people can I impact? How many people can I inspire? How big can this movement get? And just relentless, unstoppable, relentless.
Do you have any practices that keeps you motivated to be in that headspace? Because I find that for me, I'll get into that place where it's all about service, and then the selfishness will sneak in. And then you find yourself like, how the fuck did I get here?
Mm-hmm.
And then having the reset button.
I think now it's important, especially you've been doing this for 6 years. We've been at this roughly the same amount of time. It's the people that we help, right? So the testimonials that I get, the videos that I get from our audience, or the people that have tried Organifi, and the weight loss stories, people that are no longer diabetic or whatever, right? And I didn't say this is the cure to diabetes or anything like that. So, right? Legal disclaimer there. But when you get to that place, you have to remind yourself why. We call it the whydentity. And it's good to have those reminders from your people. So why are you doing it? What do you want it to look like? What do you want it to feel like? What do you want to hear from other people as soon as you accomplish your goal? So I would review this every day. First thing in the morning, 5-10 minutes, I would spend answering these questions, and it would become more and more real. So instead of my identity, which was the guy in Tampa that was, doing all the stuff we talked about, what was my whydentity? What was my reason, my why that made me cry? What did I want to do every day to really touch, move, and inspire other people? And that kept me locked in like that. So then I was the guy that was inspiring others to make a change. And that motivated me enough to just continue.
So did you figure out that piece, that mental model that you just explained, did you figure that out right away, or did you just have this realization and then still there was a lot of bumps in the road to actually change your behavior? Because a lot of people might have a realization in their head, and then it takes a while to actually figure out how to be a different person in reality. Like how long did it take you to make that shift?
I think the shift was instant, but I think adding new pieces to the vehicle as it went down the road was kind of like the thing. So we may have the 4 wheels and it can start going, but then we add a side panel to it. We add the engine later or whatever. And then eventually the whole car is going down the road. You're building up momentum. And all those ideas came as just the more people I interacted with, the more people I interviewed, like what you guys do. I mean, interviewing people, you have another idea from every interview, and it just kind of creates this awesome mix at the end of it.
I think that's worth mentioning, because I think a lot of times people see someone like yourself and they go, well, I can never be like that.
Yeah.
But what they don't know is you had a transformative experience, but then the evolution was continual. So you started off with just, maybe making some juice in the morning and shooting something on a flip phone camera with 100 followers.
Mm-hmm.
And then it evolved in what it is, because I think a lot of times people get stuck on, they want to be where someone else is, and there's a lot of comparison going on.
Yeah. It's interesting listening to you speak. Like, one of my coaches recently turned me back on to some of Ken Wilber's work, and we were mentioning this right before we started recording this podcast with sort of integral theory. And one of the big themes that they talk about in self-identity and transformation of identities is basically a 4-part process that you need to have multiple pieces working to create legitimate, sustainable change. Mm-hmm. And in one quadrant, it sounded like you had this experience, which is one of the quadrants. The next there has to be a behavioral match. So you have this experience that elicits that there needs to be a change in behavior. Mm-hmm. But if others don't relate to that behavioral change, that may or may not work as part of the third thing. And then systemically, the overall systems in and around your life need to also sort of service that identity change.
Yes.
And all these things that you just described kind of fit that process where they're hitting on all cylinders. Mm-hmm. And what my coach works on me with is look, at least 3 of these things have to be working if you're going to actually evolve yourself and make legitimate progress in the areas that you're intending to. And that requires a lot of thoughtfulness. When I look back at my life, I notice, some of these changes and transformations were accidental, but now as I grow a little bit older and have more responsibilities, I'm trying to, I'm intending to have more consciousness around those identity shifts. So
can I maybe put some layman's terms on that?
Yeah.
Which is if somebody is seeking.
That was a lot, Kenny.
Well, I liked it though. Ken Wilber. I'm like, all right, this makes sense.
All right,
I can make it really simple. I can say there's experience.
For the record, when Ken Wilber talks, it's way more complicated than that.
Yeah, I'm usually
half the room doesn't know what the hell he's talking about.
That
when
was
Ken's
the
talking.
dumbified version.
Yeah, if I'm gonna go see Ken Wilber, it's a microdose first. But you have this internal transformation. Like, you go, oh, I want to change. I'm gonna change. But I think, just to put it in really applicable terms, is you have to enroll your environment, and that means the people around you. You have to let them know that you're changing, and let them know that this is who I used to be and this is who I am now. And I think that if you don't do that, people around you will then treat you the way you were, and now it's going to be an uphill battle. But if you can enroll people in your process of transformation around you, now it's the snowball effect is just much, much easier.
And that's so true.
You're talking about the 3rd and 4th quadrant, respectively. Yes.
3rd and 4th.
And even, if you wanted to take that a step further, if you look at, transcendent masters throughout time, but Jesus in particular, he couldn't transform his own family when he went back, but there was a great fame all around him. and eventually, you know, people start listening. So you can transform everybody around you, but those closest to you are the last people to pop. Those are the last people always. And it can be so frustrating, especially, you know, flying back to Michigan and, you know, dinner comes out and it's like this macaroni and cheese and there's no protein. It's just like 3 cheese with bacon on top. It's awesome. It tastes amazing.
So good.
But it's so good.
Once in a while.
Yeah, once in a while.
But yeah, you're right. You're never a prophet in your own land.
Yeah, exactly.
Was it my friends have a saying, which is like, you think you're enlightened until you go home.
Yeah.
It's like, oh man, I totally got enlightened.
It's a great phrase.
And then you go hang out with your family and you just turn into the biggest asshole.
Yeah. your brother and your mom are just rolling their eyes like, oh yeah, sure, Billy. Great. You're enlightened. Keep it up.
All right, let's take a break real quick. When we come back,
Cool.
who knows what we'll talk about.
Cool.
Thanks for watching the show. If you'd like to learn more about how to improve your snatch, clean, and jerk, we have a free 55-page ebook you can get at flightweightlifting.com. It has sample programming specifically for weightlifting, weightlifting how-to technique videos, and other tips on how to improve all of your lifts. Go to flightweightlifting.com and you can download that ebook for free.
All right,
and we're back.
Now we're back. We're keeping all
Well, actually, speaking of DNA testing, actually the first time that I ever heard about Organifi was because of a DNA test that me and Mike got when we were in London last year, or a couple years ago.
Yeah.
We did some work with DNA Fit, and they came back and said that I had some genetic markers that said that I needed to worry about inflammation more than other people genetically. And so so I actually came to Mike and said, hey, I'm gonna start making my own turmeric pills.
Yeah.
And then he came to me and said, oh, here, no, these guys already make turmeric pills. And he gave me the very first Organifi product that I'd ever heard of. So that's actually how I learned about you was through the genetic testing that we got.
Oh my God.
It's true.
Yeah.
You were making
I actually kind of forgot about that until you said it.
Like making your own turmeric pills. Like, what does your house look like?
Well, I never actually did it. I talked to Mike about it. He was like, oh, don't worry about this. It's already done. And I was like, oh, perfect. Now I don't have to fucking worry about it.
Yeah, they already did it. Here you go.
Yeah.
Easy peasy.
I just when you said that, I just saw like a house just covered
pain
in yellow, like all over the place. You trying to shove the turmeric in here, your whole body's just looking like a mustard stick.
So
Yeah, I mean,
Crazy.
it is interesting that turmeric has become a thing that you can buy in pill form, because for the longest time I was juicing with it, or
Yes.
you throw it in somewhere, and if you're not juicing, it's actually kind of hard to get. And so it's nice that they start putting pills now, you guys. I guess some of the first to do it.
Yeah, so turmeric's great. I've been taking it for years. Like you, throw it in the juicer. But when you're taking it in pill form, ours is a process we use called supercritically extracted. And it's I mean, it's
super
pretty cool.
important.
You just
Super
like
critical.
Is it different
down
than
to
super
it.
passively?
Super critical. Marketing bullet. And there's black pepper added to it too, which makes it actually more absorbable in the human body, as you guys know. I feel it, and I mean, I've had people send in photos with like chronic arthritis. Their joints are all swollen, and then after taking turmeric for a month or two, it's like their hands are normal again. So imagine not being able to use your hands, and turmeric just helps you out.
So the main benefit is kind of anti-inflammation.
I think brain benefits too. You know, we could get into how it decalcifies the pineal gland and does some pretty cool stuff, but I think inflammation's huge. I think obviously it's one of the biggest things.
Have you noticed a difference the last couple of years
Taking it?
taking it?
Turmeric was like 6 months ago.
Yeah, that was a pretty recent thing. Maybe 6 months ago is pretty accurate. Nothing tangible that I could say, but in my case, like I take a lot of things where I don't feel different because I take them. Like when I take fish oil, I don't feel that different. Like if I eat broccoli, I don't feel that different. Like I do so many things all at once to influence my health that like when I start taking like one or more supplements, like it's either based on the research where I said this thing seems to have a good effect and I believe that it's supposed to work, and then I just take it, and then even if I don't feel that different, I still believe that it's affecting my health positively, and I continue to keep taking it. So that's where I stand on not just turmeric pills, but with a fucking million other things that I take.
Right.
So I try to do that. Where
And I'm not very perceptive about how I feel either, unfortunately. I mean, that's true though. Like Mike's a feeler. Like he's like, oh, I can really feel. I can tell the difference. And I'm like, I don't know. The research said it's good. I'm looking at the data.
I'm like 45 minutes later.
it.
I'm like, whoa. He's like, what's going on with you? I'm like, that's crazy.
Yeah. And I wish I was in better tune, with those types of things. But and I've gotten better over time, but I'm not that good at it.
I've been working on some practices to help people feel better. So
there we go.
All in secret though. It's in my secret lair for the last 2 years. We'll see.
We'll unveil it. We'll unveil it at the end of the show. For the low price of $99.
I still don't know.
You too can feel good.
Are they super critically extracted though?
100%.
These secret ideas.
Usually in front of the mirror.
All right.
You just stand in front of the mirror and be super critical of yourself.
That's a great phrase, though. Yeah. Super critically extracted.
So let's back up. So you went from recording all these YouTube videos back when like smartphones were kind of just coming on the scene.
Yes.
To building a big audience of people that were into juicing and all the other things that you were talking about, and then eventually you decided that you were going to start Organifi, which is more physical products. We just mentioned the turmeric pills a second ago, and then you were talking about juicing. You have like a green juice thing.
Yes.
Why did you decide to make these different products?
Because we wanted to make nutrition easy and convenient for America, for the rest of the world. We got a lot of people in different countries as well. And it's hard to get organic produce in places.
Oh, yeah.
Believe it or not, Michigan, where I'm from, and it's like an Arctic tundra 8 months out of the year. There's no sun. It's gray skies. You don't have a lot of organic broccoli all over the place, or kale, or turmeric in these things. So we wanted to make it easy for people to get. To improve their mood is a big thing that we focus on too. Turmeric's great for that. And their overall feeling in the body. So that was one of the main things. We wanted to make it simple. 11 superfoods in the green juice, 11 superfoods in the red juice. And just the synergy of the components as well. There's a reason we made it like that too. There's a lot of quote unquote superfood organic juice powders out there where they throw like 50 or 100 different things in it. But if you do that, you're only getting a speck or a particle of each thing, which really doesn't do anything, especially when it comes to clinical trials. So what we've done, likened to our green juice, is we've added ashwagandha in the clinical dose. So ashwagandha is one of those adaptogens that balances stress hormones, helps with testosterone, helps with mental clarity, focus, all these things. In the clinical trials that we have, lowers stress up to 28%, which is big. So adding that in with the juice, making it taste good, because ashwagandha does not taste good. It's like bitter. It's like drinking urine, if you've ever had it.
And adaptogens.
I mean, if you know what urine tastes like.
If you know what urine tastes like. Okay.
Adaptogens
We'll tell
general,
that story in a bit.
Those things, adaptogens have been something I've added to my supplementation in the last couple years that have made the biggest difference. People talk about all these different supplements. I'm like, well, I used to take whey protein, and I used to take, these pre-workout drinks and all this stuff. And then now I go, if I'm going to spend a couple $100 a month, neither one of those items now make it into my shopping cart. It's now going to be adaptogens are usually one of the first things. Some healthy greens, things like that. I stumbled across your green juice when we were traveling a lot, because I was juicing at home, and then we were traveling. I think a couple years there for this show we were traveling 20 days of the month. And what I would do is I would get the powder. Yeah. I would just be at the airport and just dump that into a water bottle at the airport and chug that. And I was like, I'm not getting sick, and
so
that's
important.
what I would do. Yeah.
Yeah, I used to juice like every day until I had kids, and then that just stopped somehow, some way. But so I was always looking for like a good green juice, and there's a bunch of them that are out there, and I've tried many of them, and they don't really taste that good for the most part. But the one that you guys have actually tastes really, really good. So how did you do that?
Yeah, it was tricky. We went through like 55.
Certified organic
He's
Drew
like,
pea,
shit, don't tell people there's
dried
pea in
Drew
there.
pea.
We went through like 55 different iterations, and every ingredient comes from different farms. The soil's different, so therefore the plant tastes different when you're dealing with organics. So getting all this stuff and just, over 50 times, testing every single one of them. Sometimes the wheatgrass would be too sweet. You don't want it that sweet. You just want it enough. Sometimes the mint that we put in there as well would be not as fresh as it could be. So it's a whole process. But in finding the right ingredients, we were able to formulate something that tastes absolutely incredible. I think the reason the green juice does taste so good is because we sweetened it with lohan, which isn't stevia. Stevia can be a microgut biome disruptor as well. There's no sugar in it, right? We added mint, and we added coconut water extract too. So you got the layers of the coconut water with the mint, with the different greens that are in there. There's matcha in there, so you get a little bit of that flavor note as well, and it tastes absolutely incredible.
As you're talking, I'm going, I try not to consume like just tons of supplements all the time, and I'm like, man, I should be eating Organifi more often.
So actually I have a question that I've been wondering. Do you need to eat a meal with it? Are all the things in there water soluble, or do you need some fat in your meal to absorb the fat soluble items, or are there any?
You absorb it all in water. That's how it comes. Sometimes I'll pop fish oil with it. I don't really notice a difference, but I know that what's in there, your body absorbs with water. There's chlorella in there too, which is actually one of the greatest plant-based fat sources on the planet. And it helps you detox heavy metals in the body. There's spirulina in there as well, which is one of the greatest forms of B12 on the planet. Helps with stem cell regeneration. And the adaptogen ashwagandha, like I said. And I love what you said, because adaptogens go in your body to you, and it's a customized nutrient. So now you're dealing with like smart food technology in your body. And that's what each one of our products have. Now we're starting to add medicinal mushrooms as well, like the red juice.
I noticed that. Yeah.
Cordyceps.
This is what I like about the products you guys put out, and you guys have put out a lot of stuff in the last, it seems like 12 or 18 months.
Yeah.
And one of my biggest complaints about supplements has always been, well, if I really want to take the stuff I want to take, I have to work with 5 different brands. And I was taking a lot of different medicinal mushrooms, and I was really pleased that I'm starting to find medicinal mushrooms like, oh, there's these 2 mushrooms in this product, and there's 2 in these. And I go, oh, this is actually the majority of the stuff I like to take.
Yeah. And people freak out too. They drink the red juice, and it literally tastes like fruit punch or Kool-Aid, right? You drink this stuff, and it's got the cordyceps, the reishi mushroom in there as well. And it's got all the berries, all the antioxidants.
I was talking to Ben Greenfield. We ran the Spartan Beast up in Tahoe a couple months ago.
Did you run it with him?
Not with him, but we ran it. Yeah.
Oh, got it.
I'm not running with Ben.
I'm like, good God.
We had a different kind of experience on the mountain.
Yeah.
Doug, and a handful of guys, we just ran the race.
Yeah.
We just had a good time,
took our
enjoyed the
sweet
view,
time.
great time. Ben was out there trying to win something.
Yeah.
So
as
different
usual.
experiences. Yeah. But one of the things he talked about with the red juice was we're at altitude. And so one of the things he did to prepare for altitude is the 2 weeks leading up was beet juice is really good for that. And so with the cordyceps and the beet juice. So he said he loaded up with the red juice for the 2 weeks leading up to the race, and he feels that's helpful.
Yeah, for sure.
For elevation. So,
yeah. That and stamina in general. In the Olympics, they did a little research, and people that drink, I think it was a liter of beet juice leading up to their event, their stamina increased by like 34%. So pretty insane.
A liter?
Triathletes.
Like in one sitting? What are they talking about?
Oh.
Well,
should I tell my beet juice story?
That's all I'm
That's
thinking
a lot
about, of
of-
course.
Did you think you were dying with the beets? Did you die the next day when you had a bowel movement?
No.
We all know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
That's happened to me many times.
It's worse than that. So this was way back in the day. This must have been, if I had to guess, 2011, and Memphis, Tennessee, and we're gonna have a big workout on 4th of July in Tennessee, where it's just hot as balls and humid, and we're doing this thing at the park, and there's 100 people out there. So what do I do the night before? And Doug and I are running the gym there, and like
Yeah.
we're the fit guys, and we're like the fit CrossFit guys in town. And so I go out drinking the night before, and I get a few hours of sleep, wake up, I go, wow, what am I gonna do? I'm out of food. I really don't have much food in my house.
Mm-hmm.
So I ran out of most of my vegetables. All I have is beets. So I juiced my beets. I think I may have thrown like some ginger in there or something. There wasn't much else. It was beets, and then I go, I need some protein. So I take some raw. I wake up and I'm like, I gotta be out the door. So I take raw eggs
Savage.
and beet juice, and I just like mix it all up. Boom. I'm at the park.
Oh my God.
It's a partner workout, and we're running hill sprints and doing burpees. That's all it is. Like hill sprints and burpees, and maybe I think we're carrying each other. Just a completely, just my lungs are on fire. And I get done, and as soon as I get done, I grab a tree and I just start hurling.
Oh.
I'm hurling, and the consistency
Looks
of
like
this
blood.
red juice is blood. It just looks just like blood. It's a little sticky, and people are worried. They're like, "Oh my God, are you dying?" I'm like, "Don't worry about it. It's cool. Like, no worries." And they're like, he's really cool for throwing up blood. Like you think he'd be freaking out. So yeah, that's my too much
God.
beet. Actually, I didn't consume beet juice for months after that because I just kind of wasn't for me for a little bit.
I can see why. I mean, after an experience like that.
I think I just started eating beets again a year ago, so it's like a 5-year beet ban.
Beet ban.
So many
Now
bad
you're
decisions
back
just
to
crammed
beets.
into like 12 hours, but punctuated by like, this is a
man.
good idea.
Hey,
This is a good idea.
That was Mike Bledsoe, 2011.
I'm impressed with
One
the
bad
eggs.
decision by the other. The eggs?
The eggs
Oh, yeah.
thrown in. Raw
Oh,
eggs.
I've never done the raw egg
That's
thing.
like
You ever
next
tried
level.
that?
Yeah,
Kenny?
I did.
Really?
I did that in preparation for my black belt test. Because
Was
Rocky,
that 1989?
yeah, no, 85.
85.
So, yeah, Rocky had did it, and so I was like, all right, well, if Rocky's doing it, and so I'd mix it into the proteins that were made then. It was disgusting. You know, and then guys would come over to train with me from the dojo, and I had a little dojo in our garage, and I'd crack an egg and open it in my mouth. I'm like, I'm tougher than you, and it was just like, just
God.
bad decisions.
Oh, protein back then was so bad too. Like
It
I'm
was-
only talking the 80s. I mean, even in the 90s, like trying to mix protein
No.
powders was
Yeah.
the worst.
Dude,
I remember gagging the first time I tried to
Like
drink
pro-
some like Pro Performance, like vanilla
It's
protein
so
with just some water.
Oh,
you couldn't mix it. It
God.
had big chunks in it. Like
Yeah.
you drink it and you get a big chunk in your mouth and it'd break open all dry in your mouth because it was so big.
It
Like we've come a long way with supplements since then.
It would give
Yeah.
me meteorism, which is violent, uncontrollable gas.
And that said, your powders actually mix much better than what I was just talking about.
I knew you were going there. Yeah. Thank you for that.
Oh,
It
man.
is.
And,
It's delicious, man.
All
That's
right.
my first exposure to
the
it.
protein, and it's you know what? It's actually plant-based as well.
Yep.
So it's absorbable, and a lot of people when they have plant-based, they get gas
Yep.
from it.
Yep.
But we put enzymes in there, and
Yep.
we put coconut milk.
That's so
and other
2017,
things.
18.
So yeah,
Not
2000.
1985.
So 2018.
It's come a long
It
way.
tastes like ice cream, legit.
Yeah.
At the office, every Wednesday we have Waffle Wednesday.
Yeah.
So we take the protein, we make waffle batter with it, put it in there, and it literally tastes just like waffles.
Yeah.
It's incredible. So now you have protein waffles, protein pancakes, and it's easy to make a shake too. You just shake it up, a little bit of water, or almond milk, or do you want a little milk in there, goat milk, whatever.
Hmm.
Yeah.
No, I want to do that. The thing I found about your protein, it's being plant-based, and one
Yeah.
of the concerns about protein in the past has been, with plant-based proteins, is it going to be, what's the amino profile look like?
Yes.
And you're using a mixture of different plants, so it's a nice full amino profile, and you have the digestive enzymes which help it digest more quickly and actually break down. Now, what I would encourage people to check out, because I did this a few years ago, and I started being way more plant-based protein friendly
Yeah.
with the powders, because if you're drinking whey, just try Organifi's powder. And one thing I notice is I just don't get bloated afterwards.
Yeah.
I drink it and I go, oh, I actually feel good. Like feeling like shit after you train is not normal.
Yeah.
Like, you should feel really good afterwards, and it's easy with that protein.
Yeah. And you
Yeah.
shouldn't have gas.
Right.
You know, like you're talking
Right.
about.
Yeah.
Your body's using it.
Yeah. What else you got? So we talked about the green juice, got the
Yep.
beet juice. You guys came out with the plant protein last year, which I'm a big fan of. In fact, I just did this morning. I've been doing something where I take a collagen protein, your chocolate plant-based protein, and some maca. I blend that up and do that instead of coffee now.
Yeah.
And with a little bit of MCT oil, and that's great.
That sounds amazing. I'm going to start doing that.
Yeah.
I drink coffee, but I'm going to try that. We have gold as well. Was another thing that we have.
Is that out?
Gold is out.
I was told it.
Yeah, it's out.
Maybe I got one of the first ones. I don't know.
Well, you did.
Yeah.
A couple, 2-3 weeks ago. I think
it's more like 6 weeks ago.
By the time
I'm super cool.
Well, yeah, you are super cool.
So super cool.
She's one of the first.
So super cool.
Yeah. And that's more of a recovery drink. We put turkey tail mushroom in there, which boosts immune system up big time. It's got some lemon balm. The magnesium helps our body relax. We put that in there as well.
I like to do that with hot water before bed.
Yeah, reishi.
Yeah.
It literally, it's like there's turmeric in there, which is good for inflammation once again. It tastes like the best golden milk on the planet. There's ginger, there's cinnamon, so you get a little bit of spice with it as well.
Yeah.
I do it as a ritual before bed. I sit down, I drink this gold, and I come up with as much stuff in my mind that happened that day to bring gratitude in my life. So it's kind of like an experience, a ceremony that I have with the gold before bed.
Is that something that you drink warm? Or
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I take a little warm water, put it in there. Like I usually do about a scoop and a half because I like it a little thicker, a little more bold. And yeah, it's awesome. It's got coconut milk in there again with the turmeric and all these spices. It's wild. Yeah.
Right on. And then you also have some probiotics. Is that correct?
Yeah, probiotics, and we have our turmeric. 2 types of protein: vanilla, chocolate. My personal favorite is actually the vanilla. Yeah, I love the chocolate, but the vanilla is incredible in my experience.
Yeah.
You like the chocolate better?
I like them both. I mean, it depends. If I'm mixing it something, if I'm doing something that I want to throw some berries and some other vegetation in there with,
Yeah.
I like to do the vanilla.
Got
If
it.
I'm doing chocolate, it's usually, I'm gonna mix that with some almond butter and some bananas
Yeah,
and stuff
so
like that.
good.
It kind of depends. I just have different recipes.
So one thing I do with the chocolate is I take coconut oil, I mix it in, I heat it up, mix it in with the chocolate protein, and then I'll take a layer of almond butter or protein or peanut butter, and I lay it in a pan, and then I freeze it, and then I put this chocolate layer with the coconut oil on it, and it is literally better than any Reese's Pieces I've ever had. Now you're getting a super nutrient-rich, infused dessert that's incredible. Your kids will love it.
Do you have these recipes on your website?
Yeah,
and
yeah,
everything?
we got all the
Okay,
recipes
okay.
on there.
I
Yeah,
got to remember this.
you got to have Shauna make it for you. Be like, hey, like,
I think I
can
can
you
make
bring
that
me
happen.
over a tray of this? She will do it for you.
Yes.
Okay.
We're gonna make that happen.
Sounds amazing.
She's gonna be like,
This sounds amazing.
Drew, why did you tell him that I would do this?
Dude, my
And
She
pregnant,
wants
it's
to.
gonna be
She wants
awesome.
to.
It's gonna be awesome.
and my pregnant wife's going to be all about that.
Oh, I
There you
know,
go.
right? Marcy's
Oh
going to
my
be all
God.
over that.
She's gonna
dude.
be all over it.
Sounds so
Yeah.
good.
And then the cacao is incredible too. So
I haven't got any cacao.
we'll have some before you leave.
What the hell?
Yeah, cacao's
Feel
incredible.
left out. I
Well,
thought
we
I was
just
cool.
that was like literally 2 weeks ago. The cacao. You're
Nice.
still cool.
Nice.
We
Okay.
got you.
Okay.
I'll give
I
you a
was- I was
bottle. You
worried.
could take a bottle
Look,
home.
you've passed the super critical
Super critically extracted.
extracted test.
But I'm still super critical.
Yeah.
That's the problem. You mentioned something. You have a gratitude practice before
Yeah, so
bed.
I do the gratitude practice when I'm drinking the gold. And sometimes I even wake up in the morning and before coffee, I'll drink like 30 to 40 ounces of water, like super hydrating, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll have a cup of the gold, and I'll do a Facebook Live while I'm drinking this gold juice. And the turkey tail with the reishi, all those mushrooms are just so great for our brain and what's happening. So I love doing that.
Yeah, medicinal mushrooms seem to be really hot right now. Like I keep hearing more and
Yeah.
more and more and more and more about them. There's actually a really good Joe Rogan recently where he interviewed a mushroom expert where he goes deep into all the benefits behind medicinal mushrooms. So if you're listening to this and you don't know much about medicinal mushrooms, I think that's a good episode to listen to.
It was Paul Stamets was who he's interviewing, and it was episode 1035.
Dang, off
Look
right
at
off the top of
this
your head,
guy.
huh?
that dude.
I've been taking my medicinal mushrooms. I remember everything. You know what? On that note, I actually been taking. Everyone should take this one. Get lion's mane and take that before bed. and it's supposed to help with nervous system and memory support. Wow. Do that before bed, and your dreams. Well, this has been my experience. I can't speak for your experience, but from my experience, I've had dreams that seem much more vivid, and I can remember them much better. So
I need to take some of that then. It's one thing that's a whole, like, of the many holes I'm trying to work on, the remembering of dreams.
I think it's important, really important.
I think so too. Yeah. I've been working with a Toltec shaman for about 3 years, and this guy's like, he's Don Juan's apprentice. His name's Javier. If you've ever read any of Constaneto's work.
Yeah, we saw your book.
Saw your book over there. I was like, huh.
100 Years of Solitude.
Yeah, this guy's so legit, and he's just so much unconditional love, so much light. And I do dream at night. I go to night school, and there's so much you can learn from your dreams. I'll wake up, I'll feel like I've been on a journey, you know, in the middle of the night. Sometimes it's intense. You wake up, your body's just beat down.
Yeah.
You've astral traveled to different galaxies and dimensions, and then you come back and. Yeah, I'm getting a little woo-woo here.
It happens.
It happens. Yeah. But it's, if you're not remembering your dreams and you're not able to wake up and know what happened, like, change your nutrition. And eventually it'll happen. Set the intention, too.
That's true.
I think part of it, I mean, for me, I just wake up with the kids 3 times a night, rotating which child's waking me up. So.
Yeah. I went and I've been seeing this Chinese medicine doc the last couple months, and been removing things from my diet, adding certain things in, drinking teas.
Yes.
But that's part of the conversation. I go see him every couple weeks, and every couple weeks it's like, how are the dreams?
Yeah.
Because that is an indication of stress in your life, which is, physically manifesting.
Yeah.
So it's all connected.
Yeah.
So again, dream.
And getting ideas too. I mean, how many ideas have you gotten from your dreams at night?
Yeah.
Like to wake up or take a nap in the middle of the day. Edison and Tesla, they used to do this. They'd fall asleep with an intention, and then right when they woke up, they're like they had the idea or whatever they needed.
So on that Paul Stamets episode, he was talking about staying in that when you first wake up.
Yeah.
Trying to stay in
state.
that in between state and seeing what you can uncover there.
Yeah. You can work through so much stuff in that.
Yeah.
So for your family, what's really exciting, we wanted to give everybody 20% off listening to this today. If they go to Organifi.com, which you'll have a link below this as well, and use the coupon code SHRUGGED, they get 20% off. So powerful.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on, you guys.
Yeah,
this has been
thanks
awesome.
for coming on.
You made this fun.
Yeah.
Right?
Go use that coupon code. Give it a shot. Love the supplement line. And if you enjoyed this show, which I know you did, go over to iTunes, give us a 5-star review, positive comment, and go over to YouTube, subscribe. Always putting out new videos over there as well.
And if people want to know more about you, where do they go?
FitLife.tv, or they can check out Organifi.com too. I got some stuff there. Social, obviously, Drew Canole. Canole. Check it out.
Drew Canole.
All right, man. Thanks
Right
for
on.
joining us.
Yeah,
thanks, Drew.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Cool, brother.
Appreciate it.
Cheers.
This has been awesome.
Thanks for making it all the way to the end of the show. If you liked the show, which I know you did, please go share it on Facebook, Instagram, or whatever social media channel you happen to be loving at the moment. Pinterest, Twitter,
Tumblr.
Tumblr. Share it on Tumblr.
Do it.